Yeah, we can. Are we live?
We are live, so if someone wants to check the stream, see that we're looking good.
Jared, that's usually you, man.
Can we get this link sent out everywhere too? Oh, you're muted, adults.
Where's the stream? Is it in Discord?
Yeah, I just checked now. It looks pretty good.
Okay. Oh, there's Judd. All right. Well, without further ado, we'll give adults like 60 seconds to send this out. This is being recorded, so we will publish it as a recording afterwards for anyone that misses it. This is our first developer update in 2 months. How the time has flown by since the last one. Today's primary goal on this call will be product update for the community. A chance for us to talk about how much has been accomplished in the last 2 months. It's also an opportunity to welcome Mike officially, first time ever out into the public to the team, which is super fun. So Mike, we can give you a chance to introduce yourself, and we'll go from there. Dalton, I know you have a specific agenda, so you'll actually, if you want to be, you can be on point today for walking through the agenda, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so Mike would love a just face-to-face introduction for everyone, and then we can jump into the agenda for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so it's about time I dox myself. I'm Mike. I'm the head of product right now at Shade Protocol, secure software. We got a lot of interesting stuff in the works right now that in this agenda today we'll be going over. But my background specifically is in data science, machine learning. But here I'm wearing multiple hats, although right now I'm wearing one. But yeah, for sure, Dalton, if you want to take it.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Mike. So to kind of jump into it, as Carter said, it's been quite a while since we've actually done one of these. And we just kind of wanted to give you guys an update as to why we haven't done a roundtable in a couple months and what we've been working on in the meantime. So we haven't actually done one since approximately middle of the summer, so I think June or July. And the reasons for that have been, we've been to a lot of conferences. So we were at Decentral Austin in June. And then we just gotten back from Mainnet Massart and Cosmoverse down in Medellin, Colombia. So we've been really, really busy on the conference tour and making sure that we're getting Shade Protocol's name out there. We've also been extremely busy on the product side as well. So earlier this year, we launched Bonds, and that was going through developments in the last couple months and launch as well. And so that was something we were extremely busy with. And then also, we'll get into it a little bit later in this call as well, but all of the products that are coming in the coming months, like Shade Swap, Shade Lend, Silk, all of these things have taken up a lot of our bandwidth. And so we actually haven't been able to produce as much content as we preferred. But we are back on the wagon now. And so we will be doing these every month, last Friday of that month. So I will hand it over to Carter if he wants to add anything to that. And then after that, we will go into a little bit of a product cycle update, and Mike and Christian can both speak to that.
Yeah, I think I just want to say thank you to the community during the last couple of months. I know it's been a little quieter post Bonds. I know everyone's excited about airdrop number 2, and just know that in the background, like as a large set of multiple teams, we've really established some awesome software development lifecycle work between all the teams. There's never been more cohesion on the builder front, and strategy, product market fit, all of that's going to be put to the test in Q4 and in Q1 of what's coming up. So for anyone out there who's been with us since day one, with us through the bear market, we appreciate you guys, and we have been working our tails off in the background, and it's all coming to fruition. It's kind of put up or shut up in Q4 and Q1, and we're pumped to show the world that this insanely large vision that everyone's here for they're not just words, but they're real, and we're going to be getting them into your hands very, very soon. So that's what I would add.
Yeah, that's probably a good point too, Carter, that we haven't really mentioned, is how big this team has actually gotten. So if I'm not mistaken, we are at approximately 26 to 28 people in total, if everyone working on the Shade Protocol vision. And so that is a far cry from where we were in the middle of the summer, and even more so when we released the first part of the airdrop in February. So just to let everyone know as well, like, stringing together everyone in a cohesive vision and product cycle and marketing with 28 people, like, that's a huge organization in the DeFi space. And so that's also something that we've been really, really working towards and has taken up a lot of our time, like Carter said. But we're back now, and I will hand it over to Mike/Christian to kind of give a product update.
Yeah, for sure. So I can just do a high level. So as pretty much everyone knows, we have Shade Swap coming out soon, Shade Lend coming out soon, and with that Silk. I'm happy to report that with the swap and pretty much this whole package, we have user testing that's approaching that. So we're going to be pulling in some community members for. So that'll be really interesting for everyone to get involved and see how you guys like our products. We're also approaching the handoff for our audits, our third-party audits. So that will be great once we get that back. We kind of just get the stamp and we're good to go. With Shade Swap, we have a lot of interesting things that have been announced as well regarding the stable swap component of it. And we can get into detail. Dalton, I'm not sure if we want to get into detail with that here. But pretty much TLDR, there's a lot of efficiencies. There's a lot of like really cool end user advantages that comes with this DEX. And it's great. We have Shade Lend approaching, as well. Same thing, user testing, the third-party audit handoff is approaching as well. So it'll be really cool to see everyone get Silk in their hands, start playing around with it, and really just seeing the advantages of all these products in one cohesive place. We'll have. Carter, I see you unmuted.
Yeah, I was gonna pose a question, like, on the product side, where have you seen the most growth across the teams? So just love to give the community some insight on like the efficiencies and everyone collaborating together. What that overhaul has looked like in the last 3 months.
Yeah, for sure. So that's pretty much like Dalton said. For context, that's really what these past, this past year has just been internal, process oriented, just optimization, and really we've seen that across the board. Specifically when you're working with developers from all over the world, right? Different time zones, different cultures, things like that. It's really difficult to try and find cohesion. So over the past few months, we have pretty much adopted this new product lifecycle and this entire just software development lifecycle, where honestly I've never been more bullish on Shade Protocol since we've done that. Everything is really looking good, and we're just cranking out products now. So it's, I guess, the main thing that I've seen is just work. Quality work being done, and soon we're going to be able to get that feedback from the community, and I'm really excited for that, so we can just keep on improving. But yeah, Shade Swap, Shade Lend, Silk, these are all real, and they'll be launching fairly soon, and we also have I think this was teased as well. I don't know if I'm spilling alpha here as well, but we have a bridge, an IBC bridge as well, and that's really going to be helping bridging onto Secret Network, and just you could bridge into a suite of DeFi applications. So just clock in, and you could just put your assets to work immediately. So it's really, really interesting.
Maybe before we hand off to Christian, maybe Austin and Judd, you both want to talk about the bridge, like the thought that's been put into it. Austin, maybe as well, just kind of how the front end team has grown the last couple months. what you're looking forward to in Q4 and Q1. And like I said, Judd, the opportunity for you to also talk about the UI UX work, your thoughts on the bridge, and the overall application. So we'll start with Austin. We'll go to Judd, and then Christian, you can round out maybe the product discussion and your thoughts on where we stand.
Yeah, to piggyback off Mike a little bit on, just some of the organizational changes that we've had and changes to process. I've been really excited about, like, in the past we had a pretty small front end team. Most of the resources were going into the contract side, but we've now put a lot of firepower into our front end development as we prepare for the launch of these big products. There's been like an entire sub team of devs been put together just focused purely on bridge, and actually I'm not even one of those. So it's been exciting to see the team grow and just have these different teams working together to build out this single application to bring this vision forward. And along with that, there's a lot of challenges to building this much of a cohesive application. I think I maybe mentioned in one of the previous dev roundtable calls, but it's pretty easy to build an application that's single use case, single token. But when you start getting into something at the scale that we're doing with so many different primitives all working together, you have to have such a solid foundation built on the front end side in order to be able to scale that to an infinite number of tokens to do swaps and buy bonds and all these different things, bridging from various chains. So it's a really large vision, and I'm very confident in the infrastructure that we're building out. So yeah, I'm excited.
Thank you, Austin. That's a great rundown, and I know, people always say when, and the answer should be when the foundation is firmly set and built, and we can actually, move forward and build the house itself. And I think we'll look back at 2022 and remember it as the year of building out that foundation, growing through that growing pains from a business standpoint, a product standpoint, from a larger macro market standpoint, many growing pains. But this is where a lot of the quiet work was done. And when people turn their heads in 2023 and say, wow, this front end experience, it's so fluid, it's so fast, and it makes sense, and these products are so useful, like, when did all this work get put in? And like, how is it so good? The answer is, well, it was a patient, long-term approach in 2022. You reap what you sow, and we've been sowing a very strong foundation, and that's courtesy of Austin leading the front end team, Mike, Christian, like everyone on this team, everyone plays their role. So without further ado, Judd, maybe you want to talk about your experience of how UI UX has grown, your thoughts on the bridging experience, and what it's been like for you to step into kind of that lead UI UX position.
Yeah, definitely. So as kind of Carter and Austin were talking about, I've stepped into the UI UX design lead position, and that's just been super rewarding working with the front end team and having these awesome, essentially like mentors, and being able to have a team that is so fluid, and our communication is just like really on par, and I've never felt more confident. And kind of like what Austin was talking about, when you're building a whole suite of DeFi applications and you want these standards to be universal across every app, but they look different, but you want these users to feel like they're just using the one suite. They're not going onto these different sites. They don't need to use different tokens for, they don't need to transfer, worry about losing their funds here and there. So having a site where users can all, these colors are universal, and they're just small intricacies here and there, but they make a big difference. And you might not notice them, but subconsciously, having a site where no matter where a user is, they know, okay, this is Shade. I'm really stoked about how we're dark mode by default. I think that is just like such a standard that we're setting for ourselves, and that's how we're like recognizable. That's our brand, from what you can see so far, and just kind of following the brand of Shade. And I think it's a fun design. But yeah, it's the way that the UI UX fits in with the software development lifecycle, and the way that we've been able to like maintain communication through this process. I'm just excited for what's to come, and as we're developing more and more of these applications, how we can maintain our brand kind of as like an overarching theme. It's a fun project, so just excited for the future.
Amazing. I think it's interesting because ultimately what we're describing is like kind of like the soul of Shade Protocol. Like there's this long-term vision that was outlined very much at the beginning, and it goes from a set of ideas to something that users can actually like touch and feel, and so all these little intricacies that allow a user to go on a web page and like immediately feel safe and comfortable and familiar, like that's what we're establishing, and just super pumped to. And I think Austin's always talked about this. Like, what does it mean to like really push the boundaries of what's possible, and not to settle for just like what's around us in the cosmos currently. Like we should be challenging ourselves to have a better UI UX than like Web 2. You look at Venmo, you look at the PayPals, they're great inspiration, but how can we make it even better and make it for Web 3? And that's a very difficult challenge when the technical complexities of the tech stack don't always make that the easiest thing to do. But every day I think we get a little bit closer to that end state that you never truly arrive at. Like there is no end state for UI UX and simplification. I like to say simplicity is the highest form of complexity, right? That's kind of the fun way to think about it. So thank you, Judd, for that answer. Christian, I'll hand it over to you as the person who's really led the LEN team and who has been leading out big components of the software development lifecycle with Mike. What's the growth that you've seen, and how good do you feel about the current state of the Dex, LEN, Silk, and just your overall thoughts on where we stand on October 28th, 2022?
This whole time I've been thinking about what to say, because there's like 1,000 things that I do want to say. So I guess just generally the improvement I've seen is that all of us individually are experiencing a lot of growth extremely fast, and given the size of the team, that's a huge challenge. Like that's a challenge that is so big that companies destroy themselves trying to make big changes very quickly, and we're doing it really effectively. We're all moving in the same direction, and just every week is better than the last. We talk about problems all the time, and then like 2 weeks later they're solved, and it's just that there's just this constant improvement every single time, and I think that's showing up in every part of the business, of course, in our development operations as well. And as a result, I think the honest truth is that our release timeline was very nerve-wracking. It was very uncertain, and I wasn't feeling good about it for a while. And I wasn't sure how we were going to salvage it. And I think we're in a situation where we have very comfortably gotten to a state where we feel good about our release timelines. We feel good about the product that's being delivered, both in terms of features and in terms of security. There's a lot of conventional wisdom that we're breaking. You can't have a small team that works fast and build something that's high quality, and somehow we're figuring it out, and it's absolutely incredible. And I think that organizational operation structure that we have is one of our differentiating factors. And like Mike said, I've never been more bullish. And so I feel great about the state of the products that are going to come out. And I feel great about the next phase of Shade Protocol as well. And I won't say anything about that right now.
Oh.
And if we just jump in here too, like, we're talking about the product and the overall like overview of how this organization is really just, we've really just been refining. But just to go even more granular and just give credit where it's due, like our developers, everyone here have been improving, dramatically. Just in terms of, they came on for front end and now they're full stack, right? They came on for contract and now they're full stack. And it's one thing to be like a secret network developer, but then also, when you're working with like IBC and things like that, you just end up having this resume that just keeps on growing. And it's been really, really awesome to see every single person, every developer, really start to grow their resume and just their skill sets. And I think we could say the same for everyone that's a non-dev, right? I think everyone here is wearing like multiple hats and are excelling. And like Christian said, just super bullish, and I'm hoping that this roundtable really gives some transparency on, like, honestly, like, this is what's been going on. And if you started to lose hope and things like that, well, come back and check out what's going on, because it's pretty awesome.
Dalton, I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, so one, I want to say, Mike and Christian, Austin, Judd, you guys absolutely nailed like what has been going on and what has been being accomplished by this team. And it's very cool to even hear like individual team members give their own perspective on it, because it shows like how it actually affects people and what the impact is moving forward as a company that's trying to build all of these things. And so it's very rewarding. It's very cool. It's very empowering to hear, because it means we're moving in the right direction, just as a holistic business. So I'm super stoked. I will echo the sentiment of I've been bullish since day one, and I am extremely bullish now. So it's awesome to hear. And I guess shifting back a little bit into product focus, Carter, I think we have some teasers to discuss. Do we not?
Perhaps. I'm trying to think.
Perhaps.
Can you give me a clue?
So I think one teaser is a potential product that will be released very soon.
Oh, I'm trying.
And there may be some percentages related to that, but I've heard shade staking is on the horizon, in terms of it will be going through some internal processes and be released pretty soon. And Carter, correct me if I'm wrong, but we've been targeting around a 10 to 12% yield on shade staking.
Yeah, that sounds approximately right. It could change, like it's subject to change, but
Yep.
that's where things currently stand. And I think more details will be coming out about staking and maybe timelines sometime in the first week of November, maybe the second week, but that's kind of where we're tracking right now on shade staking.
Yeah,
it's also a unique type of staking that really I can't say is super common. Yep. And so I'm like very curious to see what the market thinks about this type of staking and version of staking. Should be interesting.
Yeah, and we should also probably say that there's going to be actually 3 different opportunities for people to stake and earn yield on. So it's a very different concept in regards to traditional staking, and then 2, it's actually you'll have the ability to choose what opportunity you want to stake in and the percentage yield that you want on return. So it's very, very interesting. I don't think anyone's actually ever done it before, to my knowledge, and so I'm very excited for the users, for the Shade community and the Cosmos community to see what we've been able to create and present to you guys in a very beautiful way. But I think we probably shouldn't give too much more product alpha as we move forward. Mike and Christian will probably have me for that. So we'll stick with shade staking is coming soon, and more details to be announced, like Carter said, in the coming weeks.
Do we wanna do a bridge teaser? Maybe like Judd or Austin, maybe pull up the current state. Mike's like maybe.
Maybe we just verbally tease here. But like Mike said, we are creating a bridge experience for the Cosmos, and that will be an extensive bridging solution. And so very, very excited to be bringing that to the Cosmos as well, directly on the app.shadeprotocol.io website. So users will be one click away from bridging and actually can use Shade as a bridge hub for the Cosmos as well. So
Not just
we
the
will
Cosmos.
keep visuals.
Not just the Cosmos.
Not yet. Well, oh yeah.
That'll be the alpha. It's not, the bridge will be more than just IBC.
Yeah, so it's not going to be just for the Cosmos. Wink, wink for everyone who can pick up on that. But yeah, it's going to be super sick. I'm stoked for that as well. And I know Mike, Christian, and the rest of the engineering team has been working very, very hard to get that to a point where we're comfortable with, and where we will be comfortable with in the future. But moving more towards the future, Carter, I wanted to pose a question to you. Where do we see Shade in 2023? What are any plans that we have? Are there any thoughts or conceptions about where we want to move towards?
Sure, it's a great question. Before I answer that, Austin, I saw you unmuted there briefly. Did you want to mention something about the bridge?
Well, you were just talking about dropping bridge alpha, so I'm not sure if you wanted me to say any more details about the design, some of the improvements we're thinking about. Do you want me to?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, I don't think this is necessarily a new idea, but certainly I think the biggest pain points with bridging in the secret network is this idea that you have to bridge to get like a native version of a token. So you bridge your atom into secret network and you get a native atom that's bridged. And then in order to get all the benefits of secret network privacy, you have to do an additional transaction to get to S atom. And that's just a really painful user experience to have to do that twice. It's really confusing what's going on. And there's currently like no use case even that I'm aware of on Secret Network for an unwrapped token. So we're implementing multi-message executes through Kepler to allow us to combine those things into one transaction. So that's going to really cut down on the number of clicks and just lead to a more seamless user experience to get your tokens into the network. And there's also some interesting things we're going to do with viewing keys as well to make that process easy as well and all built in to the flow. So we're hopefully going to be onboarding users into the network much easier than they've been in the past, and hopefully be excited about using the network once they get here. So,
and the dream is, in my opinion, before I jump to the 2023 thing, is it's such a good bridge that people use it for like all of their Cosmos bridging. Like if you wanted to go from, something like Osmosis to Atom, that you would still want to come to app.shadeprotocol.io/bridge and use that user interface because it's so smooth. And that's the long-term goal, is that it is the best UI UX of any bridge in the Cosmos. That's what we aspire to. And it starts with the fact that every single use case in Shade Protocol, the user story starts with the bridge for any new user. And so we really want to be obsessive with what that feels like, how comfortable users are going to be with that. And that means there's going to be a lot of user testing. So be sure to join the Discord, be sure to join the Telegram, keep your eyes open for that, because I think, were we to assign focus percentages to any given experience, I do think the bridge should probably have like the greatest amount of focus of anything, because it's step one, it's the top of the funnel. And also thank Austin, thank you for adding in some of the multi-execute alpha. So 2023, it's an interesting question because we kind of want to see how the market reacts to the various products, right? Like we have a lending product, we have a bonds product, we have a staking derivative product, we have a stable swap, we have a stable coin. We'll have some version of staking, right? It's pretty insane what we're doing here. So I do think like the beginning of 2023 will be just gathering data, like being very focused on what is the market telling us about these products, what's working and what's not. And from there, it's about kind of leaning into the direction that the market is telling us it demands more of, and shoring up our infrastructure. And I do think that 2023 is going to be very focused on user acquisition and making making the app just feel great and lightning fast and quick. I'd like to think 2023 will also be the year of mobile, to a degree, that we start to figure out some of those pain points. There's a lot of complexity to solving for that, and I do think that Silk has an opportunity to transcend just the Web3 experience. Without going too much deeper into things, there is a vision for Silk to transcend Web3. Because if it doesn't transcend Web3, then we didn't really change everyday lives. And we're never going to lose track of that component of the story. So that's my answer.
You could have said nothing besides that last point. But no, I appreciate that. And I think it gives a good vision as to what people can expect from us, what people can expect us to be focused on in terms of time and energy and engineering capabilities. So I just wanted to pose that question, kind of give people a little bit of a clear mind and vision as to what we want to approach moving into 2023. But I think that wraps it up in regards to the questions that I had for the agenda today. It's a little bit shorter of a dev roundtable, but no reason to keep us too long as we're getting back into the swing of things. But I guess I'll open it up to a community kind of AMA here in between us. So does anyone have any pertinent questions that they want to ask each other that would make sense? And if not, then we can pass it to Carter for a conclusion here.
When airdrop part 2 and why delay for so freaking long?
Oh, goodness gracious.
The transparency everyone wants.
The question that everyone wants answered, and the question that probably deserves to be answered at this point. Carter, I will answer it as best as I can and fill in the gaps when necessary. But so the airdrop part 2 was supposed to come out with the launch of bonds, and it didn't. We fully are aware that we missed the timeline in regards to pairing those two together and providing for our community, and we want to apologize for that. As we've kind of described in regards to organizational structure, product lifecycle, all of these things were taking place while we were developing all of these products and structures and systems. And so the learning curve, along with all of that new knowledge kind of lent itself to going, oh man, we misunderstood our capabilities in regards to deliverables. And so, we want to apologize for that and just know that we've implemented structure to make sure that things to that extent don't happen again. But it was a miscommunication between the marketing side and the product side as to what was actually capable and what was actually doable in regards to the process of launching securely and safely when it came to a product like bonds. So just know that that part of the airdrop will be coming. It's slated actually in our marketing calendar here very soon as well, along with the staking, shade staking. So just know that it is front and center in our minds, and we do want to apologize because it happened and it's unfortunate. But know that moving forward, we've implemented structures to not let that thing happen again. So Carter, if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's good. I'll try to add as much color as I can here. So I think we have fully implemented a software development lifecycle that's being used by like every component of Shade Protocol now. And so the launch of bonds really represents like a degree of technical debt where a product was built out without being fully integrated into the software development lifecycle. And so we kind of had this product that got to the finish line, but had it not in the most smooth way. And the airdrop was also kind of in this weird category between kind of this technical debt incurred from our old way of working through products and then this new system, and the airdrop sat somewhere in the middle. So I think that technical debt was not fully accounted for with the airdrop, and fundamentally it caused it to get pushed off. The second piece too was the secret network upgrade. There was a whole set of like, we're on testnet and it's not the same version of mainnet, and so there's a couple of pieces within our timeline for doing the airdrop where we kind of realized, all right, it's not feasible for us to get this thing out super closely to the launch of Bond. So as opposed to trying to rush it out, let's firmly add Airdrop Part 2 into the new software development lifecycle. That's fully mapped out. Make sure it's fully safe and good to go, meets our UI UX standards, and let's let's launch it. Let's not just try to shove it out there. Let's follow this new system of organization. And so that, that sucked, right? Like fundamentally, like we take ownership of the fact that was late, and the community were super excited about it. We take ownership of that. We take accountability for that. And part of that accountability is that type of mismatch between target dates versus actuality are never that big again. And part of that is our new approach and our new system. So apologize for it. It is coming. It's slated for November, and super pumped for what is to come on that front.
Yeah, most definitely. I guess in conclusion, Carter, do you have anything else to add as we kind of wrap up the call here?
I'm just so proud of the developers. It's really humbling to see us get this close. I think about last summer, 2 summers ago. Holy smokes, jeez, 2 summers ago, when all of this was just an idea, and now we are. It's the finish line, which I always like to joke. The finish line is the starting line. That's always how it goes in the world of DeFi and crypto. But it's only possible through the blood, sweat, and tears of every single person on this team and the community for believing in us and supporting us. And I look around every day, like even at the community members, and it's like I feel like if any single person was missing from the start of this journey, that something would have fallen apart. If Judd wasn't here, if Austin wasn't here, if Micah wasn't here, if Christian wasn't here, Jeremy, Dalt's, like I look around at every single person on this team and the story of Shade Protocol, and I feel like there's something special going on here, and we have this massive opportunity to launch this cohesive end game like DeFi that actually has a shot at sustainability. Silk has a shot of changing the world, and we don't know if it will succeed, right? There's no guarantees here. There's no promises, but the thing that keeps us up at night is the question, what if? What if we can? What if this does work? And we're going to be able to find out in 2023. So buckle up, spread the word, and join us. And for those of you who have been with us since day one, your support has not gone unnoticed. I know there's many a dev here where I've seen bags under their eyes, and they see a positive comment from the community, and that keeps us going. It really does. So thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, I don't think I can add anything to make that better. Carter, you always have a very succinct way and fantastic way of summing up what this all means to us. And so, again, just want to thank everyone for tuning in. And again, we'll get into a more regular rhythm. So every last Friday of the month, we will host these live streams, and people can ask questions in the chat and participate as well in our Discords, Telegrams, community channels. So if you don't already, make sure to follow us on Twitter, Shade_Protocol. Make sure to follow Silk as well on Twitter, Silk_stable. And join our communities. Obviously, those are Telegram, Reddit, Discord, and all sorts of things. So if you haven't joined the community yet, there's plenty of room for you in the Shade. So join, ask questions, get involved, and learn about what we're about to launch and accomplish. So always super excited. Thank you everyone for joining, and we will see you in the Shade.
Have a good one, guys. Let's see. And waiting to end stream. Here we go. And boom.
Nice work.